I also want to thank all the other student leaders who worked to make this day a reality. There were a number of students, and I'm going to ask Jessie Nejberger now to come up and talk about her personal story from her family.
So Rabbi Sue was talking about how every one of those 6 million lives was precious, and they had a unique story. And I don't want my family's legacy to be forgotten. My dad's parents were both survivors, but all of their families were killed in the Holocaust. My bubby and my pop-pop, they both survived in different ways, but I never want their stories to be forgotten, so I wanted to share that with you today. My pop-up was born in Sokolov, Podlaski, Poland. It was a shtetl in Poland. And when the Nazis invaded Poland in 1939, the men of Sokolov Podlaski started disappearing. And that was when my family decided that they had to flee Poland. So they left to go to the Soviet Union, where Jews were more accepted. I mean, there was still anti-Semitism in the Soviet Union, but they moved to Stalingrad. But their neighbors found out that they were Jewish and told the police, and they were taken away to work at the gulags in Siberia. My great-grandmother Frida was able to convince the Soviets to put my pop-up and his little brother Claude in a monastery, in a Catholic school, where they didn't know that they were Jewish. My great-grandfather Sergei, he was forced to fight in the Red Army and died with honor in the Battle of Stalingrad. My pop-pop and my great-grandmother Frida and my uncle Claude were able to survive after the war and relocated to France. My bubby was born and raised in Paris. Both of her parents were from Hungary, but they moved to Paris. And at a certain point, my great-grandfather and my bubby's brother moved back to Hungary, and the family was separated. My great-grandfather, Ugun, was forced to work in a labor camp, and my great-uncle Joseph, he was drowned in the Danube River, taken from an orphanage in Budapest. He never had a chance to have a childhood or live his life. When the Nazis came to power in France, my grandmother had to wear a yellow star and was humiliated when she walked in the street. Wasn't allowed to go to places because she was Jewish and had to wear her yellow star. One day in January 1943, she went to school just like any other day. When she came home, her mother wasn't there anymore. When she left for school that day, that was the last time she saw her mother, and she would have never known that that was going to be the day that her mother was taken away. She was arrested by the French police and taken to Drancy, a camp outside of Paris, where most of the French Parisian Jews were taken before they were deported to Auschwitz. My bubby tells me that there's not a day that goes by that she doesn't think about her parents, and especially her mother. I was raised to never forget the Holocaust. My grandparents taught me everything I know about the Holocaust. Every time I talk to my bubby, she asks me what my generation is learning about the Holocaust. And I don't want to tell her that my generation is forgotten or that they don't care. So that's why I'm here today. And I've worked so hard to never let us forget what happened during the Holocaust. I wanted to start off the names reading by announcing the names of just a few of my family members that were slaughtered in the Holocaust. My great-grandmother, Fanny Tessler Cohn. My great-grandfather, Eugene Cohn. My great-uncle, Josef Cohn. And my great-grandfather, Sergei Rukovsky. Thank you.
Now, the Holocaust is something that we all must remember as a community. All of us stand together, and I'd like to invite my colleagues and guys back up to read, to get us started in our names reading for the next several minutes, if we could all come back up.